Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hi, welcome to Brother Be Well. I'm your host, Justin Martinez, and this is the BB Dub Youth Chat Series. Today, we will be diving in and discussing the ins and outs of how to build up our financial literacy game. Joining me in this discussion is mental health advocate and Brother Be Well advisor, Patrick Ma. We also have former general manager from ABC News Channel 10 from Sacramento and currently an advisor with Capstone Financial Group, Russell Postel. Also joining us is an advisor, financial education specialist with Schools First Federal Credit Union, Everardo Ever Velasquez. Also, we have senior advisor from Wells Fargo, Mr. Joe Frank, and our incredible youth guests, Devontae Springer, Richard Toledo, and Shamar Knox. How's it going, gentlemen? Welcome to the show. Everyone doing good?
Great.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Glad to have you all here. Glad to talk about this, because this is something that we're not taught in school. Financial literacy. I still don't know how to manage my finances, and I'm 30 years old. I'm going to just come clean and I'm going to say it. So I've got my pen, I've got my paper, I've got my highlighter. I'm ready to learn, and I'm ready to share this with everyone else. As we start this discussion, I would love to start with our youth guests, Shamar, Devontae, Richard, whoever feels ready to go or asks these advisors, financial advisors, and our elders, our people who have been there and done that financially. What's a question that you have for them? Like, what would you say to yourself when you were your age? What would you go back and tell yourself starting out financially? I'll let you guys open up with any questions you have for the advisors in the chat.
A question that I have would be, when is the best time to begin saving? And what are some appropriate ways or resources that youth can use to invest their money in?
Absolutely. Yeah, whoever wants to take it.
I'll go ahead and chime in.
Please.
So there is, I think there's a Red Hot Chili Peppers song that said there's never been a better time than right now. So one of the things I want to stress is a lot of times people have what I call perfectionist procrastination, which is after I get all my ducks in a row or everything's lined up, I have so many $100 or so many thousands of dollars, then I'll start saving. And really the best way to start saving is starting it now and doing it on what we call either an auto saver or auto investment basis. So whether you have a job that's maybe paying you a few $100 or a few $1,000 within a month, or you're working within the summer, the typical person may have some amount of spread between the money that they're bringing in versus the money that they're spending. And you're looking to save some significant fraction of that. The best way to do it is to set it up monthly on an automatic basis. You might have some rules for the teens on investing versus bank accounts. So brokerage accounts might have rules in terms of age limits, but certainly with a bank account, you can start with an automatic transfer monthly, maybe a few days after your paycheck goes direct deposit from your checking account, which might receive the money into a separate savings account. But when you do things automatically, then it's a very good way to get started. And I'll sort of make room for any of the additional experts if they want to chime in.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, thank you so much for sharing that. I could not agree more. There is no right time to save. You need to start saving as soon as you can. However, as a formerly homeless youth, I would have to caution our youth at home is that, you need to budget to know how much you can save every month. Because if you have no idea how much money you're bringing in and how much money you're spending, how much do you know that you can save, right? So budgeting is important. You need to know how much is going in, how much is going out, and how much you can safely put it in your saving account without worrying about, my checking account going to overdraft, or I have to have money to pay for credit cards and all that stuff. Right. And we'll go back to this point in a little bit, but I just have to emphasize, credit card do not make you rich, period. And we will go back to this point as soon as our advisor has finished talking.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I remember when I was 21, I got a $700 limit credit card, and I went to TJ Maxx and maxed it out and bought a bunch of clothes, a bunch of tank tops, a bunch of shoes. And then I didn't want to pay that money back. And then I had to settle out with Wells Fargo. Unfortunately, Mr. Frank, I had to settle out for $500 to clean that off my credit. Yeah. If I could go back, I wouldn't have got that credit card because I didn't know what that was. So with that being said, what other questions are important for us to ask as young people, Devontae, to experts, especially as being men of color, typically coming from, low socioeconomic status or living in poverty-stricken communities? What's a concern that we have financially, and how can we ask our experts to help us out with that?
Concern for me is like with the things that I do, I deal with a lot of money on a daily basis, just sneaker selling, because there's a lot of money built up in that. So I make a lot of money for my age, but when people see how much money that I have, the first thing that they think about is, well, what are you doing? And when I say sneaker selling, they're like,
right,
it's like dirty money or something. I'm like, no, this is clean money. I'm doing this. I'm working my butt off to get this money and bring this in. So I guess my question would be, how do I handle my money safely to where I don't have to worry about people accusing me of anything or things like that.
Yep. And just for clarity, Shamar, if I can ask you, what is dirty money? Like, what is the money that your friends are asking you about? Like, what is that dirty money, Shamar? What is that?
Like, well, to put it quite frank, drug money. That's basically it. I mean, it can be other things, but that's the main thing that comes straight to their mind.
Right. So they're questioning you because you got some money in your pocket and they don't have that much money. So they're like, oh, maybe your money's dirty. Well, my hat's off to you, young man. Keep it clean and let's keep it going.
I would say, Devontae, that you, first off, be careful, mainly be careful who you talk to and what you're saying about what money you make. Money is yours, and if you're earning it properly, then you really shouldn't be concerned about what other people are thinking about you. I will tell you this as being an older gentleman than you, but way back when I was a kid, and I was one of those kids that always worked. I was always one of those kids that spoke well. I was always one of those kids that got good grades, and always one of those kids that was working to get a scholarship in college. And I was told by a lot of people that I wasn't even black because of the way I grew up, and that a lot of people shunned me off because of what I was. But you are who you are, and if you're out earning money, selling sneakers and legitimately making money, then keep that to yourself, and just learn from this point going forward exactly where you should be putting your money. You need to put your money in a safe place. So a safe place, I'm a big advocate for people for credit unions. Mr. Everett is a credit union. I'm a big advocate of persons like yourselves putting your money in money market funds, not CDs. and not necessarily in bank savings accounts because their low interest rates are so low. But there's a lot of things you can do. But mainly, I say to you is just keep doing what you're doing. That's good, and don't pay attention to anybody else out there worrying about how you're doing what you're doing. As long as you're good with the Lord, and as long as you're good with what you're doing, and you're being honest and straightforward, keep doing it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll chime into that too. I'm so glad Russell said what he did, because my experience is when you work hard to earn money, as hard as you work to make that money, there's usually either a hater or somebody on the side that's going to try to work to separate you from that money, either in the form of they want to borrow money that they may not pay back or whatever. So be careful who you share that information with, because one of the things that you'll learn, Shamar, as you do well for yourself, and I had this as a young man. It's like you get a little successful, you do well, you kind of want to share it with your friends and tell people. But if you have a few select trusted friends you share that information with, have a tight inner circle that you share that with, and the rest of those folks outside of that inner circle, don't share it, because again, you run the risk of people either wanting to try to steal or whatever. They're going to ask you for the loans, or next year, you got a bunch of people hitting you up to borrow money, and
Right.
you're a bad guy now if you didn't lend them money or stuff like that. So I think what Russell said was spot on.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Protect yourself, protect your money. I had to learn how to save money through Patreon as a bartender. An older gentleman taught me. He said, "Well, how much are you pulling out of the bar? How much are you pulling out of the bar here?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm like $200, $300 a night, on good nights." He goes, "Okay, how much are you paying yourself?" And I said, "Well, I just spend it, or whatever. Yeah, I don't really know." He goes, "Okay, so you have no structure here. Use 10% and put it in your pocket, cash. Use another 10%, put it in your savings automatically. Like, you need to consistently do that and commit to that. And then you have 80% to pay your rent, to pay for your gas, to pay for your phone bill, to take care of the things that you need to take care of. And if there's any money left over that 80%, then you can throw that in savings, and you do that every time you're making $200 to $300 a night." So that's always stuck with me, the 80-20%,